Welcome back. Nothing like working on both the corn planter and the combine in the same day. Two completely different pieces of equipment for two completely different times of the year. Finally getting a little bath for the corn planter. It's not as bad as it has been in the past.
I can see it getting quite muddy.
Regardless of how dirty it is starting out, you're always soaked and filthy by the end of it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So many nooks and crannies and crevices to spit the water right back at you. But Kyle, you are doing a fine job.
I figured. You wouldn't tell me otherwise.
Nope, because I'd have to do it. One other thing we got to do that we had to do before we started washing on that, we had to pull all the electronics off because you don't like pumping water into those. But these are the speed tubes that we run. The high set's what allows us to go the high speed. And Dustin is just doing a yearly blowout on it. One of the things we do every year is we got to take the belts off and we hang them up because they get tensioned down in the speed tubes, and we don't want them sitting tensioned over winter because they get kind of stretched out if you do that. So that's what Dustin's working on. My job is pulling all the boxes out of this and laying things out. The two things right now that we're doing on the combine, we are adding this adjustable spout in place of that fixed spout. And then we are also going to be I think it's that sprocket and that sprocket and that sprocket are your cross auger sprockets, and we're going to be putting clutches on them, and it allows you to shut the cross augers off separately from your main unload auger, so you can empty that out even if you don't have the main tank empty. Took a look at about all of the boxes, and I think I got a pretty good idea of what I got to do, which is scary. Because when things normally seem as simple as this seems, they usually aren't. But what I do know, first things first, we need to install this controller right here. Figure out a spot to clamp you guys up here and we'll get this mounted. Alright, well, turns out that the next step after this controller is messing with the harness bracketry, and it's right beside where I'm at. So, instead of Dad trying to crowd in on me, he's going to start with the speed sensors for the cross auger shutoff, which actually go on the shaft on the other side sticking out. So he's going to work on that while I get up here and work on the auger and spout control box. Out with the old, In with the new. Alright, so now on this one, these 3 left ones all go right back where they were. Alright, so I realized that this probably just looks like a mess of harness, but all of this is finished. This is where the controllers all tap into the main harness right here, and then it goes through here, around to there, and then back to the main harness. So now that I'm hooked to the main harness, I've got to run this up into my control box that I mounted previously. The rest of this harness gets routed down, around, into here, this is where the batteries are. So that's how the harness gets a constant supply of power. That's just a bunch of holding up and zip tying. So I'm gonna try and make it look as pretty as I can, and we'll move on. Now, onto the mechanical part. Time to get that spout off and start putting the adjustable one on. Okay, now we got to take off the old drip edge, and then we'll put the new dribble. I think they called it dribble spout. The dribble edge.
The spill stopper.
The spill stopper that does not stop spills whatsoever.
This one did a pretty good job. Look, see, there's still wheat in there.
Yep, so that's got to come off, and then we'll put the new one on along with this little hybrid piece. Yep.
Wow, somebody's gonna get a finger.
You all right? Yep. Does it literally look the exact same?
It literally looks.
It's smaller. A little bit. Yeah, definitely smaller. Hey, that wasn't too bad.
Hey!
And then this one gets a random bar. All right. There we go, right there. Gracias. Probably there and then down. You can literally straight down. How's she look? Yep, and that's basically the whole, that's folded up. So that's how it'll go down the road. Thing's gonna look sharp.
So we got the spout on, and on this next step, we got to take this this chain runs your unload auger, and the 2 augers that go through the grain tank. So these 2 sprockets have to be removed, and that's where the new clutches will go, which will allow us to shut the grain tank off while our unload auger can continue to run and empty out. We'll start by loosening the tensioner, we'll get the chain off, and then we'll start pulling the sprockets off.
All right, well, I'm ready to start wiring this actuator up. Hooking it onto here, but I have to run it with the other harness along the top of the spout. And it's a little high at the moment, so we're gonna close the auger a little bit, which will in turn lower it some and allow me to reach it a little easier. Alright, now that we've got extra of this camera harness, I think that'll work. And now, all of these that I haven't, I'm going to have to cut them and re-zip tie, because I got to get a third cable under there now. And they gave me plenty of 14-inch zip ties for a 3-inch dealio. I can't reach the camera now. Can you move me? Going for a ride on something that's good. That's far enough. Thank you. How you doing down there, Dad?
Good. Always good.
It's not off yet?
It's coming.
Okay.
So close, you're literally right.
Okay, I don't need it. I might try that one this next one.
Well, at least Dad's making progress, but I got my line ran, and now the rest of this harness has to follow all the way back behind the turret, down, and then right there's the control box that I put on earlier. So I'm sitting here patiently waiting, but I am going to need to stand up because I'm kind of sitting on the engine at the moment. And I don't trust myself, or I don't trust anybody when it comes to sitting on a moving engine. Okay, I'm out of the way. Haven't even finished and we've already got codes. But at least I can get to the rest of my harness. Alright, well the last 6 feet of that harness took way too long. Probably spent about half an hour trying to figure out where it goes, best way to route it, and then of course that turret spins, so I had to make sure I had enough leeway that it wouldn't pull on that. But it's done. And as far as I can think, I have to adjust our camera still, but we're going to wait until we're completely unfolded outside to finalize that. But our adjustable spout is done. And it looks pretty sharp if you ask me. So now we're on to the cross auger shutoff still. Dad's got both sprockets off. What he was working on this morning were the speed sensors. So what it does over here, you've got that and that are the 2 augers. And that electronic senses those spikes every time it goes by, and basically just tells the combine, are the cross augers on or are they off? So that should be all good to go. We just got to get the harness ran over there on that. But right now we're going to worry more about getting these clutches on. Oh, I got the key, don't worry.
Oh, look how easy he lifted that up.
That's what I held the key.
Here, I'll give you the key. He can lift 2 ounces.
Got it. Time for the sprockets.
Not yet. We have to
Not yet. I'll get them anyway. What are you working on over here?
trying to clean up 20 years of.
It's surprisingly, that is actually probably the area that has been cleaned most recently over everything.
I meant that.
You can clean that?
You can organize.
Didn't
and make
know
it a lot
that.
easier to find.
All right, let's see what you're working on.
8 open
He
cans
cleaned.
of
He
plaster.
cleaned up all of our oil. Looks really good.
Clean all under here.
Look at this.
Guess how? There's
Look.
1, 2, 3, 4 cans of PB Blaster open.
That's called efficiency. You keep them random places throughout the shop, and
Or
it's like,
use it.
oh look,
Put it back.
already got one
Use it,
right
put it
here.
back. Use it. Put it back. Use it. Put it back. Then you know. It's right there.
Yeah, I know. We're terrible at it. I know.
Place for everything, and everything has.
3 cans of fluid film,
That's not bad. Those are
4 cans of starting fluid,
And then
only 2 cans of brake cleaner. That's
there's a whole
impressive.
box down there.
Open,
Oh,
I
yeah.
should say. That's impressive. All of our zip ties.
Yeah, those are X. I was looking for.
Well, why can't we put that in one of our half dozen drawers we don't use? So there you go. Put your zip ties in there.
That would bring me a lot of joy.
There you go. So,
Okay.
go for it. Figure out what you can do. We'll check back in a couple hours. Pretty close.
Pretty close, wouldn't you?
From this viewpoint, it looks like it's pretty much in line, yes. So right now we're making sure the new sprockets line up with the old one. So we're using the level on that one, and then we're gonna go off this one, make sure this one's leveled up, and chain will be ready to go back on. All right, well, Dad and I actually had a seed meeting for the last couple hours. So put Dustin on that harness that I was running off these clutches. You can see the black harness up there. Came down, ran it to this wire, over and across. Had to run it up under, behind the rotor, under the grain tank. Tied in those 2 speed sensors. Got the main drive chain back on and said that everything's ready to fire up. But it's the end of the day, so we will continue this video tomorrow. Probably pull this out, get it fired up, and make sure everything runs. It's always nervous firing things up like this for the first time, but you gotta try it sometime. All right. Well, moment of truth. Get this thing pulled out of here and see if it still works. Alright, well, we're clear of the shed. I got everybody watching me like I'm doing something wrong. Nope, they're just as curious as I am. I'm gonna have to read, because I have absolutely no idea how to move that thing. Be back in a jiffy. Well, at the moment, for some reason, our adjustable spout is not showing up on our monitor. So we're gonna go over everything real quick, check all our connections, see if we missed anything, and it's just a simple connection. Let's hope. Well, unfortunately, guys, in order to get our add-ons to work correctly, looks like John Deere is going to have to come out and update our software, which means I have no way to show you guys if our install even works, or no way for me to check it personally. So unfortunately, combine has got to be put up. Our little automatic flaps. And our folding auger. You guys would not believe how much space behind the combine that saves when it's folded up in storage. Hopefully they can get out here before this video goes live, and I can get you guys updated with a little bit of video clip. But like I said, unless you literally tell them you're dead out in the middle of the field, they don't exactly seem to be very gung-ho on getting out to you. So who knows, but I'll keep you guys updated if I am able to. I got my air traffic controller in here helping guide me. We'll get this thing packed back here in the corner. Oh, so close. Alright, well, hopefully I was able to add a short clip in there of actually running that combine with all of our add-ons working. But if not, I'm sorry. Interesting fact. The 9 most terrifying words in history. Kyle, what are they?
We're the government, and we're here to help you.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.